of shirts, a lot of 605 shirts, a lot of your various merchandise at WrestleCade this weekend. And then let's go ahead and do the WrestleCade wrap up, because this was a tale of two cities. It was feast and famine. It was the penthouse to the outhouse. As I told you, everything that I did for 4 days related to WrestleCade or wrestling was just the most fun that I've had in I don't know how long. And everything else, the trip there and back and the downtime in the meantime and in between time of those wrestling things fucking sucked. And it's why I don't travel anymore and don't like to travel and intend to travel less. But let's go with the good. Let's do the compliment sandwich, like Stewie Griffin used to say. WrestleCade every year, it's gotten to be such a big deal, and I know that they had a show over in Greensboro Saturday. I heard it didn't hurt our house; we were still sold out, but I understand they did well over there too. But it's become a whole weekend now, and I was not there on the Friday night, but I understand they had matches on a Friday night, and then the Fan Fest was Saturday during the day. And then they had their super show. And once again, it's a great room there at the Benton Convention Center. They bring in a screen and a lighting rig and 2,000 people, plus whatever it holds is it's traditionally full. But then after that, this year on Sunday, not only did they have the Smoky Mountain Q&A Sunday morning, but they had not only the WOW, the women's wrestling show in the afternoon, but also an AML wrestling show. So it was like 2.5 days. So it's a big, and Saturday, let me tell you, was gridlock. I think they got to move to a bigger room, because they've just, and this is a big convention center room there, not only the one they do the show in, but the adjacent for the Fan Fest and the meet and greets and et cetera. But there's just so many people. I think we either got to increase hours or find some more space, because they are wrestling crazy over in the Carolinas, as you know. But so last Friday, I leave Friday morning to head down there. And of course, I go to the post office. Susie says, "Hey, by the way, I think Susie's sweet on you."
What?
I'm on a first name basis with all the postal employees there. If they do go postal, they would spare me. That's how close our relationship is. And now Susie has been investigating, more about me and the show and et cetera and everything. I think she likes your voice.
Hi, Susie. It's very nice to say hello to you, and I hope all those rumors about you and John the Hunchback are not true.
No, there's nothing going on. And John's lost weight now that he's come back from his surgery. But anyway, we were going to WrestleCade. So I leave from the post office, and Friday morning here in Louisville, it was 30 fucking degrees, right? It was cold as a witch's tit. So I head down to Winston-Salem, and by the time I get into Virginia, it's 60 degrees. It's a beautiful sunny day and everything. And I'm thinking, wow, this is going to be, but I forgot. I was heading east so far, I forgot it gets dark earlier over there than it does over here. And it started getting dark about a half an hour before I get to Winston-Salem. And when the sun goes down, that gets cold again. Now it's back to like 45 degrees. But I don't drive a lot after dark anymore because I can't fucking see. Right? Because I need new glasses. I know this, but also the lights blur. It makes me nervous. I just don't like driving in the dark when I don't know where I'm going, especially. Right? Well, I don't know where I'm going. I'm in downtown Winston-Salem. The hotel isn't too far off the highway, so I find it. And I'm thinking, fucking, I'm valet parking it, because then you got to, after this trip, just let the pros take it. It's like $3 more than parking in the garage, because we're downtown at a major hotel. So I do that and, leave my shit in the truck for the next day. But it always bothers me. You know this. I've got the phobias and the problems I've got, the issues, the subscriptions that I've got. Anytime I hand my vehicle keys over to somebody and I don't physically know exactly where the car is parked, and one reason I wanted it on the first floor because I got all my shit in it. I don't want it on the 5th floor of the garage where people can be tinkering around, right? I know the valets will put it down at the bottom, but now I don't exactly know where it is and I don't have the keys to it. I got to go through a third person. This stresses me. So I get in a hotel And I check in, and they got me on the 14th floor. I'm like, okay, I don't really like to be that far up because I like to be able to escape into the open quickly, right? But I'm up on the 14th floor. My truck is in the building next door. I don't have the keys. I'm already a little tense. I think, all right, I'm going to do the quick check, make sure the TV works. Okay, boom. Make sure the refrigerator works. Okay, boom. Get the laptop and get on the internet, right? Get on the Wi-Fi. Well, I usually stay, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm knocking WrestleCade, right? Because WrestleCade, the whole entire show, Tracy Myers, his staff does a great job. Tim Woody, who's been in the hospital, get well soon. Tim was a major part of he's instrumental putting the Smoky Mountain Q&A together. But I don't want anybody to think I'm knocking any of their partners. So maybe I just had a dream that this major hotel in major chain in this city was like this. I try to get on the internet and I can't because it just keeps giving me it's not secure or whatever. I don't know what to do because usually I stay in another chain of hotels and I know exactly how to get on it there, but everything's different. So I call the front desk and they say, oh, let me give you our tech guy. And they put me through to the 800 number. For 20 minutes, I'm on the phone with a guy in India trying to get on the internet in a hotel room in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And I'm telling him as best I can what's good because he's asking me these questions I don't fucking know. If I knew how to answer these questions, I could already got on the fucking thing because I'd have his job, right? But finally he says, type 4 numbers into the search bar gimmick. Boom, 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 hit enter. Okay, now I'm on it. So he has a code. He could have done that all along. Anyway, so everything's working. But I figure, okay, I don't want to go back out in the cold. I've had a long day. I'll get room service. Brian, I brought the room service menu back because I wanted to read some of these things to you.
Oh, boy.
Now, once again, I've driven 450 miles. I've spent some time at the post office. I've unpacked and unloaded. And, I'm in the middle of downtown. I don't want to get the truck back out again. I don't want to go walking around there's a Jimmy John's on the corner. I'm not going to do that, right? And I have no problem with paying a little extra for room service at a hotel. But here's the problem. They have to justify the money they're paying. So they have to make the shit fancy, or the money they're charging, rather. So they have to make the shit fancy, right? So I usually like to get some wings from the fine Hilton chain of restaurants that I stay at, the Embassy Suites or the Hilton Garden or the Hampton. If they got food, they usually have some pretty nice wings. Well, they got wings here at this hotel, but honey habanero wings. Not sure how I feel about that, but they're $16. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna gamble $16 plus tax plus the delivery charge on whether, I wonder what their other appetizers are. Well, they have roasted fennel and arugula flatbread with olive oil, roasted tomato, whipped herb cheese, and balsamic for $14. Or they've got fried okra with pimento cheese, goat cheese, honey habanero. They're big on that apparently. Tomato and green onion for $12. $12 for okra, with or without the goat cheese, right? Then, okay, what about a main dish, an entree here? Well, they've got catfish, blackened catfish. Well, that immediately gets my attention. With malt aioli, lettuce, tomato, Brussels sprout white slaw, house pickles on brioche bread. They lost me with the Brussels sprout white slaw, and that's $17. So I'll get a burger. Oh, and the grilled shrimp. The grilled shrimp, this catches my eye. With pimento cheese grits and pickled fennel salad with chili oil. What the fuck is that? Do you know, you're a grown adult man, what is pickled fennel salad with chili oil?
I don't know. This menu sounds like it has every food buzzword that they can use to jack up the price on every item.
It's $22, whatever it is. So I was, okay, the burger, which is $13. Okay, give me the fucking burger, right? I get the burger and fried. Give me the burger, right? I said medium, extra cheese. I get the thing. It's It's not well done. It's scorched. This thing, it wasn't just killed. It was cremated. This is the driest burger. I put the whole thing of mayonnaise to choke his fucking burger down, right? And I said, all right, I'm going to remember this for the future. So the next day, and I'll skip ahead because then we'll go with this stuff first, and then we'll worry about the good stuff. So the next day, when I get back in the room, because bear in mind, I get up the following morning at 7:00, and I'm over at the building, first one to check in by 8:30. So after the show, I get back, and I think, my God, I have not eaten, by the way, all day. We were so busy. More on that later. In 24 hours since I had that fucking shoe sole burger. So I figure I still don't like anything else on this menu, but I'm going to give them another chance at this, but I'm going to specifically ask. So when I order the burger, I say, can you do me a favor? It was a little well done last night. Can you just cook it medium? Leave it a little pink. Oh, yes, sir. I got the burger. Guess what? You have no idea.
Well, I didn't realize you actually wanted me to make a guess. It was burned.
No, it was raw. I have actually cooked ground beef that had more color to it in the past than this had after when you broke in the middle of it. I'm like, holy fucking Christ. So meanwhile, oh, and by the way, and there were 2 strips of bacon on it. One was crispy burnt and the other one was raw. So it's my own fault for getting the same thing, but I just couldn't work up the need for the pimento cheese grits. But listen, in this same room, there was no channel listing for the TV. You had to basically, you had to go to the TV guide channel and let it creep by for 10 minutes, There's no room service menu in the room. That's why I had to go down and get one to find that information out. There was no air conditioning. Now, bear in mind, it was 60 degrees every day in Winston-Salem, but their condenser was out. So if you turned it up to, say, 74, you could get heat. But if you turned it below 74, you couldn't get air. It would just blow. So I turned it down to 64 my first 5 minutes there. And by the time I left the room, it was down to 71. So the air conditioning didn't work. The shower drain did not drain. So when you took a shower, you were up to your ankles in water by the time you finished the shower. But the tub or the sink drain didn't drain either. So when you shaved, it almost ran over. The ice machine did not work on my floor, the floor below me, or the floor below that. And I was very comfortable the entire time. So anyway, we'll start with that now. But in all seriousness, Saturday morning, got there first. I'm usually the first guy to start setting up, but this time Bobby Fulton beat me to it, and his son Dylan was there. And we got the chance to sit and talk for a few minutes and got set up and everything. But then, I love these fan fests because you get to see people you haven't seen in ages. But the problem is it's sensory overload, and that you see too many of them at the same time, and you can't have a long conversation where you retain anything with anybody because there's so many people coming at you. And then when the fans get in, everybody's talking. It's just sometimes you can't find people. So, but I got there early so I could see it or get a chance to see and say hello to a few people. And I should have taken notes at the time, but I got a chance. I've tried to recreate it afterwards in my mind. So if I missed anybody, but this concoction of people, how long has it been? Medusa Michelli, Arn Anderson, Bambi, the lady wrestler, Magnum TA, J.J. Dillon, Tully Blanchard, Barry Windham, Joey Mercury, Mike Mondo, Ken Doane, John Morrison, Impact, if he's still Impact these days, Kevin Sullivan, Ivory, the Rock and Roll Express, Hurricane Helms, D'Lo Brown, Baby Doll, Handsome Jimmy Valiant, Teddy Long, Jerry Lawler, and the Boogeyman. I get to see all those people in this, and I'm leaving people out. No, the Marty Wright, the Boogeyman. My Boogeyman.
I didn't know if you meant the handsome Boogeyman.
No, but what handsome Jimmy? Well, no, I already mentioned Jimmy. So, anyway, no, the wormy Boogeyman. As a matter of fact, I won't start anything, but he asked me some details about certain things that happened lately while we were in the elevator. I told him real quick. He's, Mr. Cornette, if you ever need me to visit anybody in the middle of the night, you let me know. Like,
that's the kind of friend you want.
I've always liked Marty. He was a good guy put in a bad situation. Anyway, but I got to see all those people. Magnum TA, it was fucking funny because I'm in the bathroom and Don Kernodle was in there. There's another guy. And some of the fans were in there, and Don said something. I can't even remember what we talked about. I said something back that popped people, and the whole shit house starts laughing, right? Right as I do that, I'm opening the door. So on the other side, here comes Magnum TA. But as from his perspective, he hears a big pop and laughter in the bathroom, and then the door opens, and I'm standing there. So he says, Cornette, I should have known. But just getting a chance to see everybody like that and hugging them, real quick. But there were people there. Mick Foley was there. I never laid eyes on him. That was the problem. It's gotten so big and so popular. And so there's so many names that, like I said, the room was jammed. And at one point we kind of had gridlock to where we were. Think about this. The Midnight Express and Jim Cornette were reunited at a table and across a 8-foot aisle. Here's J.J. Dillon, Tully Blanchard, and Barry Windham, the Horsemen, reunited. So we were both tables were a little busy. And it got to the point where nobody could go anywhere. And then there's Mick Foley and Jerry Lawler on the other side of the booth and all these stars. So it was jammed, and I didn't get to see everybody I wanted to see, and even people that were within 50 feet of me. We had a door to our back, thankfully, that we could get out into the hallway, but you couldn't get across the room. And fans, members of the cult of Cornette. And yes, John Fell in Baltimore brought his father. Also, John Fell in Baltimore. They're a clumsy bunch. But Mr. Fell Sr. couldn't have been nicer. And they took a road trip. First time they've done that together as a family. And I appreciate him come down. And we instigated that here at the Experience because of our community we have here among the cult members. So Merch Mullins came over and helped me out by sweating all over my merchandise table all day. I want to thank him. He looked like he was about to have a nervous breakdown. He was rushing from one place to another. He was trying to make a wrestling trip and a family trip with his lovely wife out of it. And I think he was trying to serve two masters and running himself ragged. But Ken and Lisa Cantrell were there. Dale Spear was there. Dale is out in New Bern now and off the radio in Charlotte, but it's a better neighborhood out in New Bern these days. The fucking traffic in Charlotte is horrible too. But so many of the fans from the podcast that I recognize from Twitter, Lee Petrie, I'm going to mention his name. He's going, no, Lee. I saw Lee Petrie, who follows me, had tweeted that he was coming to WrestleCade and wanted to, get a picture with the Midnight. So then a guy asked me as I'm, taking a picture, he says, can you sign this? I said, what's your name? Lee. I said, Lee Petrie. And he was just gobsmacked. I'm like, well, yes, I'd have to have no cognitive function not to know. I've just read this. You've advertised it. But anyway, so that was fun. But the problem was some of the guys get there right at the last minute. So then everybody's trying to, and visit. They haven't seen each other in 15 years, and they're trying to visit in 5 minutes before the doors get open. But John Fell said at one point he was over at the booth, and it was me and Bobby and Stan and Lawler and somebody else he was a fan of, and he said, "Wow, this is great, and we wish we could all sit down and do this, but it was just hectic." Anyway, so that was great during the day. Had a great fan fest. Got a chance to visit with the boys. And also, and I'm not going to mention any names, but just for all the fucking people who say that, well, Cornette hates the young guys and doesn't like anybody new or anything new, or, the young wrestlers trying to get over or whatever. I had several of the guys who were young wrestlers trying to get over 10 years ago that I was able to help out. And I won't mention any names because they might be embarrassed or it would sound like I was bragging because they actually accomplished something. Come up and thank me for various ways of thanking me for the opportunity to get somewhere. And same thing. I just was able to give a platform to guys. If they weren't talented, they wouldn't have they would have got the opportunity maybe at another time, but they wouldn't have been able to capitalize on it if they weren't talented to begin with. And I wouldn't have given them the opportunity if I didn't think they were talented.
Maybe that's what Santino was trying to do all along, was thank you.
Yeah.
Your guidance.
All right. Now don't bring him up. I'm trying to actually say something nice and genuine here. But no, and I appreciate that. But that's the thing is, it's always been in the business. That's what Jerry Jarrett was doing 45 years ago in Memphis, was creating new talent. He brought in and featured again Jackie Fargo, who was the area legend, but he also discovered and fostered Jerry Lawler. You always want to find new talent, and I've always tried to give new talent a break or to get over or whatever, and some of them thanked me there, and I appreciated it. But the point is, for the people who think I don't like that to happen, it's only guys who don't take the business seriously, who don't take themselves seriously, who want to ass off and ruin things for the legitimate guys just so that they can get over as a freak show fucking attraction or whatever. Or people who just can't grasp the idea of what the business is supposed to be about, that I do not tend to like to fucking help succeed. But people who fit those qualifications, I've always been a fan of.